yakından. Sorry.
So this is just highlight of the sale. The best piece in it is the Fatimid Egyptian late 10th, early 11th century cut rock crystal ewer, which was recently discovered in a house in England. It's an astonishing piece of work, and that is something where the last example came onto the market in 1862, which gives you an idea of the rarity. Then from Turkey, we have the best group of Iznik tiles we've had for some years, including 3 enormous examples, and one tile depicting Mecca, which is the best depiction of Mecca on a tile that I've ever come across in museums, in private collections, anywhere. We also, from the Turkish world, have some extraordinary manuscripts, including some calligraphy by almost all the best known calligraphers, and then 3 manuscripts which come from the Royal Library at one stage. 2 were made specifically for Mehmet the Conqueror in the second half of the 15th century, and then there's one where the illumination is probably by Karamemi, so made in the reign of Sultan Murad III, with the most exquisite binding. And these are just a few of the highlights of what has been a fantastic sale to work on. Yes, one of the manuscripts is signed by Mehmet bin Farmurz bin Ali. He was someone who'd written various books, and relatively late on in Mehmet's life, Mehmet the Conqueror, Mehmet bin Farmurz bin Ali was taken on as the Sultan's tutor. And the manuscript that we have here, is a book that was not only written, the content was composed by Mehmet Farmurz Ali, but also he wrote it in his hand, and it's a year after he was appointed to be the tutor to the Sultan. So it's almost certain that this was something that he did as a gift to the Sultan on a very personal level of the book that he'd written 30 years ago. And here was now the royal presentation copy. This is the real highlight of the sale. It's a rock crystal ewer that was carved from, the body was carved from a single block of rock crystal sometime in the late 10th or early 11th century in Fatimid Egypt. There are only 6 known examples that are fully carved as this one. One of them is in the Victoria and Albert Museum, which is probably the best known of all of them, and that has been there since it was purchased in 1862. All the other examples have provenances, have not been bought or sold since the Middle Ages. In some, yeah, because it's stolen. Fantastic. Now what do you do with it?
It makes me crazy sometimes.
Why?
I don't know, they use it.
Why is it make...
If we know it's not gonna be hurt, it's not gonna be damaged or something like that. Yes, good. So you've been in Istanbul plenty of times, obviously.
Plenty of times. So we actually ended in Kalkan, and then we drove up through, and ended up in Istanbul.
Enjoyed it?
It was fantastic. So there's this...
Talking about the guy, Sabancı, he died now. You know Sabancı.
I met Sabancı.
I like him. He's a fun guy. But he was wearing Ottoman kaftan.
2 royal Ottoman manuscripts to the book.
And I'm interested as well. I like it. But I'm not an expert. Just reading stories. In Pakistan, I think they make it the biggest one. But it's the modern, the oldest one, and the...
From the collection of tiles that we have in the sale, which was formed in the middle of the 20th century, this is the most remarkable. There are a number of tiles known that depict Mecca, but this is much more realistic, and it's also got far more detail than you find in almost all the other examples. And what's particularly unusual here is that you have the name of the maker, Rasim Uthman ibn Mehmet, and you also have the name of the person for whom it was made, presumably as some sort of votive offering.
Almost, it is over. How do you call it? I don't know. But center of the Islamic world. You know. Yeah. It's not a mosque, if you ask me. I mean.
I think.
What is typical about this manuscript is the very understated cover, even more so here. And then when you open it up, this exquisite detail. And it's exactly the same as you find on the royal kaftans as well. So it's in two parts. And at the end of the first part, you have a signature and a date. And then just at the beginning of the second part, you have the dedication cartouche here to Sultan Mehmed. Is this absolutely wonderful medallion here, right in the middle, the smallest little bird right in the middle of the prunus blossom tree, which is spectacular.